What up guys, Alex here, GuitarForce.com. So with this video I'm going to open up a new section on my YouTube page which is going to be dedicated to different things rather than just showing you the song transcriptions, and just basically going to be answering some of the questions you had in a video format, and you know, showing you a little bit of theory, topics and licks and tricks and techniques and stuff like that. So if you have any questions or any suggestions, please leave them in the comment section below and I'll try to answer them in a video format. Now back to the subject of the lesson, today's lesson. It's going to be on how to harmonize guitar lines, and it's probably going to be a two-part lesson because the topic is a little bit complicated. So in this lesson it's going to be like an introduction to the whole subject, and I'm just going to show you some simple things, how you can approach, you know, how you can start harmonizing the guitar lines. And I have two examples that I'm going to show in this video, and they're taken from metal, but it's not necessarily that it applies only in metal. Just keep that in mind. You know, obviously you can use the harmonization in other genres of music as well, but it's just these two examples are very good, you know, to be as examples. So I chose these two, and just keep in mind that I'm going to be in D standard tuning, so it's a whole step down on all the strings. And the examples that I'm showing are from the band called Death. The song is Lack of Comprehension, the intro, and also the famous Slayer riff, which is the Rain in Blood. But you will see all the explanation in the video. So without further ado, let's go for the close-up and start this lesson. Alright, so in order to harmonize any melody, we have to go back a little bit, and I have to explain to you the intervals if you don't know them, and also the major scale. So if we take a C major scale, the 7th note, the standard C major scale, all of the notes within the scale we can refer to them as being intervals as well. And we simply give them the numbers. So the first interval is the root note, and in abbreviations a lot of times you can see the R, letter R, that stands for the root note. And then the rest of the intervals are going to be just like the numbers. So we have the root note, then we have the second, the third, the fourth, the fifth, the sixth, and the seventh. And then we go to the next root note, which is an octave higher. So all of the notes that I played the intervals are major, within the major scale. Just keep that in mind, because sometimes you can see other intervals like flat 3 or minor 3, flat 7 or minor 7, and just keep in mind that minor and flat are exactly the same thing. So minor third and flat 3 is exactly the same interval. Now I have to mention what is the interval. The interval is distance between two notes, and when we play the intervals together at the same time, it's called a harmonic interval, and when we play intervals one after the other, it's called melodic intervals. Now, like I said, all of the intervals within the major scale are major, and when you want to harmonize a certain melody, you have a melody, and depending on the interval that you are choosing, so let's say if you're just harmonizing two notes which are, you know, C going to D, and we want to harmonize them in fourths, let's say. So what we do is we simply go up 4 intervals within the major scale. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4. So here is going to be our note that we're going to be harmonizing, the C note. And in this case it's an F. So that's a fourth. So when we move up to the D note, again using same principle, going up 4 notes within the major scale, we harmonize the D note. In this case it's going to be the G. So we have our little melody of just 2 notes playing, but we can harmonize them and play them in fourths. And same thing applies to the fifth, to the sixth, and so forth. Now, just keep in mind that this is going to be just a kind of introduction to this harmonizing melody lesson, because when you get into more detailed things like harmonizing the whole scale in different intervals, the intervals are going to be sometimes different. So what I mean by that is when you harmonize in thirds or in fifths or in fourths, they're going to be some of the intervals that are not perfect fifth, let's say, if we're harmonizing in fifths. So if I would harmonize the C major scale in fifths, we have. So as you can see, all of the notes that I harmonized the C major scale in fifths, it's all what we call the perfect fifth, right? So the major fifth, up until the moment where we harmonize the last note of the scale, which is the B. And when we have to harmonize it in fifth, we have to go up 5 notes, but and it's going to be an F sharp note if we play the perfect fifth. But actually the F sharp is not a note in the major scale, in the C major scale. So we have to flatten it to make it an F. And this interval, as you can see, becomes a flat 5, or the diminished fifth. Okay, all of the other notes of the intervals were the perfect fifth, but the last one is the diminished fifth. And that's because we harmonize the major scale in fifths, strictly following the notes from the scale. And I don't want to get into that in this lesson. If you're interested in that and would like me to continue explaining this thing, just comment down below and I will make a separate lesson, or kind of second part of this harmonized, how to harmonize the melody. For now, we're just going to stick to the simple harmonization and just going to show you an example how you can harmonize a certain melody in different intervals. That's the basic understanding of how to harmonize the melody. You have to understand the intervals and how they are related to each other, to the root note and so forth. So right now I'm just going to show you 2 examples. The first one is going to be the one that you heard in the beginning of the video, where we have a melody from a band called Death, and the song is Lack of Comprehension. It's a very good example to show how the main melody is harmonized. And also just keep in mind that you can harmonize the melody in different intervals. So this example is actually a very good one, because one part of the melody is harmonized in fifths, and then the second part of the melody is harmonized in octaves. And I'm going to explain it to you right now. So what we have here is the main melody, which goes like this. So that's the main melody, that's what guitar number 1 is playing. And like I said, the first part of the melody is harmonized in fifths. So what we do is we simply find that fifth interval up from that note, which is going to be our root note. So we go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And if you know the intervals a little bit from the chords as well, you can refer to them like that. So you have, here's the fifth. And what we do is simply we play the same thing, but starting from this note. So now our G note is going to be our sort of root note, and we play this. So up until this moment, the melody is harmonized in fifths, and I'll try to play the same both of the parts on one guitar just for you to see what it sounds like, but just keep in mind that on the record and just in generally when they play this, they played single notes separately on two guitars. So one guitar is playing one part here and the second guitar is playing here. But when you put both together, it goes like this. Alright, so I'm not going to continue. You can see and hear what it sounds like. It's like playing with power chords, but that's what it looks like. But it's the main melody is harmonized in fifths. Now the second part of the melody, where we have it actually goes an octave higher, so the second guitar is playing this. Okay, that part. And when you combine both of them, again, I'll try my best to play it as correct as possible, but it's a little bit harder to do it with the octaves, but it goes like this. So when you put both together, you have Alright, so this was just a simple example of showing you how you can harmonize a melody using kind of straightforward harmonization method, where you take each of the notes and you harmonize it in a certain interval that you want to. In this case, it was the fifths and the octaves. Now I'm going to show you another riff from Slayer, which is from Raining Blood song, and we're just going to harmonize the main riff of the song. And it's actually on the original song, on the record, you can see that in the beginning, in the intro riff, when they play it a few times, then it's harmonized in fourths, but during the middle part, where they're playing the same riff again, it's harmonized in fifths. So I'm just going to show you what they did, and then I'm going to explain it to you. So it goes like this. The riff itself goes. Okay, so that's what the main guitar is doing, and after a couple of times when they play this riff, then there is a second guitar which is playing exactly the same riff, but it goes up a fourth. So what that means is we take this note, the E note, and we go up a fourth, so it's going to be our A note. And we simply start playing the whole riff, but starting from this note. So everything kind of transpose up a string. So we have this. Okay, so when you put both parts together, again, it's played on two separate guitars, but just for the sake of this lesson, I'm going to show you how to play it on one guitar, and it goes like this. Okay, so as you can see, there is this distinctive sound where the main riff is harmonized in fourths. Now, like I said, during in the middle of the song, the riff is harmonized in fifths. So what that means is we simply take the starting point. So here's our fourth interval, and we go up a fifth. So the second time when they play this, it's played here. Alright, so that was just another example of how you can harmonize a melody. In this case it was a riff, and it's just simply going up a certain interval and playing the riff or the melody starting from up there. So like I said, this is a simple approach. If you get into more harmonized scale, it gets a little bit more complicated. And like I said, if you would like to know more about that, just leave your comment in the section below, and I will continue with part 2 on this lesson. Now, there are a few intervals that sound kind of better than the others, or more common to use when you harmonize a melody or a riff, especially in metal. So the fourth, the fifth, and the octave are very common in metal or just in music generally to harmonize a melody. Also, a third is also common, but it gets a little bit more complicated, like I said. So just for fun, what I did, I'm going to show you how to. I'm basically just going to play the riff from Slayer, the Raining Blood, the one that we did just now. But I'm going to harmonize that riff in all 7, or I should say 6 intervals. So it's going to be in second, in third, and fourth, and fifth, sixth, seventh, and then I will go to up an octave, and even 2 octaves up. So just for fun, you know, you can hear the different harmonization with different intervals. So I hope you like it and enjoy. Alright guys, so that was it for this lesson. Hope you liked it. I hope it was useful. And if you would like to continue getting more deep into this subject, just please let me know in the comment section below. Any other questions, any suggestions you might have, also please leave them in the comment section below. Hope you liked this lesson. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe if you're new to my channel. Don't forget to visit GuitarForce.com for more guitar related stuff. In the meantime, I'll see you again. Take it easy, and as always, let the force be with you.